2023 was a great year for games. 2024 was also very good, but nothing is like 2025. It's probably the greatest year for video games since a long time ago, or even the greatest of all. So today I want to show some unknown upcoming games, but believe me, they all look absolutely impressive. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave your like if you enjoy it. Also subscribe to the channel. I'm posting videos almost every day here, so I really appreciate if you can help me by subscribing. So thank you so much and let's go. AILA is an interesting and unique first-person survival horror game. The idea of the game sounds really interesting, I'd say, as I'm going to show you right now. And the game is being developed by the studio Pulsatrix Studios. The game will control a game tester in a future world, so the virtual reality of the games will be the main idea for the main story. In some moment, the reality of the game inside the game will also be the part of the story of the main game. That sounds confusing, but it makes sense. Now that will end up becoming a true nightmare. The most interesting thing about the game is what I said right now, because we test games in the game, so it's going to mix the realities and become something even more scary, I'd say, even mixing different locations and times during the game. That sounds really fun for me. The game has no release date yet, but it's probably coming out in 2025, and it looks really good. You should keep an eye out for it. And it's coming out to Xbox Series X, Series S, PlayStation 5 and also PC. Wishlist is on Steam. REANIMAL is a game that you never saw, probably. Or you saw, I don't know. But now you'll be really impressed by it. Especially if you're a Little Nightmares fan or played Little Nightmare games before. And the game is being developed by the studio Tarsier Studios. Similarities with Little Nightmares are clear, but for a specific reason. The game is being developed by the same creators of Little Nightmares, so I think they know what they're doing. This one looks more interesting than Little Nightmares 3 for me, for some reason. The environments and immersion of this game are in another level. Everything looks so unbelievable and amazing. But you need to wait until the game be released. But probably in 2025, but there is no release date yet. And it's coming out to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Series S and PC. Vindictus Defying Fate is a third-person fast-paced action RPG, set in a fanciful and curious world, filled with different sorts of enemies, and all that with a beautiful graphic style. The game is being developed by the studio Nexon, and in the game you choose a character, the one that suits better in your style, especially in a matter of weapons and magic, and go out on a perilous journey through the world. And the game promises to be an interesting RPG for those who enjoy a challenge, with some aspects of a Souls-like game. The game was first announced only for PC, but today you know that the game is also coming out for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Some places also say it is coming out for Xbox One and PS4, but I couldn't confirm that for you. But there's no release date yet, probably 2025 or 2026. Cronos The New Dawn is a new announced survival horror game, developed by Bluebird Team Studio SA, the studio responsible for the medium that's not so good, but they also developed right now just released Silent Hill 2 Remake. That's a very great experience in video game, so I just prefer to believe they're going to make a good job here, just like they did in Silent Hill 2. The game is going to be a third-person survival horror, set in a mysterious and wrecked world, with a lot of mysteries and things related to time travel even, so I think the story here is going to be kinda complex. In a good way, I mean, but sounds really fun for me. The studio just finished Silent Hill 2 right now, but I really have no idea how long they're working in this title, but they're planning to release it in 2025. Just hope it launches in a good state. And it's coming out to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Series S and also PC. FEROCIOUS is a beautiful and immersive first-person shooter, but the main point here is that you won't just face humans, but also dinosaurs, with very stylish visuals.
Such as custom water effects and realistic vegetation.
The game is being developed by the studio Omiyok, I think that's how I pronounce it. In the game, we'll be shipwrecked on a mysterious island, and there we must survive the hostile creatures that looks really good by the way, and also the human mercenaries exploring that mysterious island.
Mysterious places frozen in time.
The game got realistic graphics, with a very nice prop modelation by the way, and also the environment that looks absolutely realistic, and the game has no release date yet. And it's only confirmed for PC for now. They could in the future confirm new versions of the game for the consoles, but not so far. Arma the Dark World is a first-person cinematic psychological thriller set in a dystopian world, and the game will pass through different scenarios with different puzzles and mysteries.
A clerk at the Winston Research Institute. Do you think?
The game has been developed by the Polar Studio, and the story will be set in the year 1984, on Germany, and will explore a place that's always changing, and will always be getting even more and more bizarre, and that with a nice graphic style and a truly immersive pace.
This was just an ordinary theft. I never imagined a case like this would trouble.
If you enjoy crazy and unique games, I think you should keep an eye out for it, because it looks really interesting. In some aspects, it even reminds me of Control, in my opinion. But to see the full game, you need to wait, because there is no release date confirmed yet. But you can play the demo on Steam. The people really liked it, by the way. But the game is also coming out for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S.
Just before you arrested me, I got attacked. That monster. That thing. It took my leg.
Strands is an interesting action and adventure game, where the player will be able to merge fire and ice powers and also different stuff, create the best ways to pass through the hard enemies. The game is being developed by the studio Yellow Brick Games. You will play as a character with magical powers, facing multiple types of enemies, and the most interesting feature about this game is the freedom it's going to give you to choose the way you want to face the enemies, merging the different abilities that you have, and creating even different stuff, finding the best way to deal with each one of these enemies, even merging ice and fire for example to create steam. That sounds really interesting in my opinion. The game is coming out in 2025 to Xbox Series X, Series S, PlayStation 5 and PC. Decadent is a horror FPS with a original plot and immersive details and environment. The game has been developed by the studio Incantation Games. The game is going to be a linear FPS survival, playing as a war veteran that turned into a occultist in a quest to save his own son, and there are many threats await, including bizarre demons, so get ready. The game looks very terrifying, I'd say, especially in a matter of immersion. The horror immersion of the game looks really good. Hope it keeps that way, but if you enjoyed it, the game is probably coming out in 2025, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Series S and PC.
When the unknown yellow flowers.
Untitled game, The Bird That Drinks Tears. This game is a sort of mystery. Actually, we don't even know when it's coming out or even how it's going to be. But the trailer looks really impressive, I'd say. So I decided to keep an eye out for it.
Turns for me. What would happen to me?
The game is being developed by the studio Crafton, the same developer of PUBG, but this game is going to be a single player and will be based on the Korean novel of the same name, called The Bird That Drinks Tears. The concept trailer looks really good, but it's just a concept for now. But the game is aiming to be set in an immersive and interesting narrative, but we have no idea when to expect it yet, neither the platform, but you should keep an eye out for it, I think.
Neck severed.
Luna Abyss is a single-player story-driven action-adventure with fluid platforming and bullet hell combat, and it's being developed by the studio Bonsai Collective.
A rare piece of drift technology has been
In the game, we'll play as a prisoner in Luna, the moon, and the player will face fast and numerous enemies through the game, with fast-paced gameplay, impressive scenarios, and a very interesting style.
The scout's job is to explore the unknown, and sometimes the unknown is dangerous.
If you're one of those people that likes bullet hell game style, you should at least be curious about this one, as it makes an interesting narrative, a FPS gameplay, and also the bullet hell style, what makes it looks very promising, I'd say. And it's coming out to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Series S and PC, with no release date yet, but probably 2025 or even 2026. ExeKiller is a first-person shooter set in a futuristic western world, with a storyline set in a post-apocalyptic alternative timeline, but in my opinion sounds extremely interesting. The game is being developed by the studio Dark Studio, and the game will be set in a semi-open world, exploring and discovering things and places in the destroyed desert. The game will also have a character development, with a lot of possibilities, and even a system that the choices you make will affect the world and the story, like some RPGs we know. The game looks very interesting, at least for me, and if you liked it, know that it's coming out to Xbox Series X, Series S, PlayStation 5 and PC in some moment of 2025. Industria 2 is a story-driven FPS game, a sort of horror game. It will be set in an alternative dimension. The game will follow a stranded woman that's trapped there, through immersive storyline and storytelling.
Okay, let's hope this thing works.
Explore, scavenge, and fight your way through a mysterious burial landscape consumed by an ever-hungry artificial intelligence to find a way back home. That's the briefing of the game. We'll also explore claustrophobic and dark corners of this universe, with a nice gameplay and very beautiful graphic style. For those who likes FPS games, especially with this horror approach, I recommend it to take a better look at this. And it's coming out probably in 2025 or 2026, but only confirmed for PC for now. Defying is a new and unique RPG game. The game is focusing on fishing mechanics. Yeah, fishing, that's really different even, but looks very interesting. The game is being developed by the studio Metasla, and despite the game is focused in this fishing mechanic, it has a lot of other mechanics too, including some 2D levels with melee combat and platformer game style challenge, but for me it's really fun. The game looks very unique and interesting, and it's coming out in February 2025 to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Series S, and also PC. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Click on the like, subscribe to the channel. I'm posting videos almost every day. Check another video in the channel. I posted a lot of videos about upcoming games and also the best games for each console, so just take a look and I'm sure you're going to like it. Thank you so much and so long.